Korea, a peninsula divided by politics, ideology, and language, has been influenced by foreign powers since colonial times. In modern times, the communist North bears signs of Soviet influence, while the democratic South reflects American culture. But beyond politics, these powers have also shaped the Korean language through loanwords. Thus, how did foreign loanwords help to reflect and shape the Korean languages to adapt to political and economic influences in both the post-Korean War era and the 21st century? We will be looking at loanwords as political tools after the Korean War, followed by an evolution of loanwords into Konglish culture in South Korea, and finally, the inevitable adoption of foreign loanwords in purest North Korean. After liberation, the Soviet Union assumed control of the North, and the United States took control of the South. From this point in history, we not only see the divergence in language and politics, but also the emergence of Russian loanwords in the North and English loanwords in the South.
In March 23, 1946, Kim Il-sung started a campaign to remove Japanese loanwords. Following the rise of the Juche thought, 1961 saw the emergence in popularity of socialist realism, a doctrine of Soviet origin prescribed and described what was considered appropriate art and literature in relation to the communist ideology. The Soviet Union greatly influenced North Korea, and the North Korean government tried to convert the nation into a communist country through specific literature and art forms. Consequently, in 1966, even after adopting political terminology from the Soviets, North Korea focused on retaining only loanwords that could be used easily by peasants, thereby removing English, Japanese, and even recently borrowed Russian loanwords to remelt people along communist lines and build a communist society. However, without a doubt, before recent times, in accordance with political affiliation, Russian and Sino-Korean loanwords existed only if it could be adopted easily by the masses.
One of the main language policies in North Korea was to purify Korean by reducing the number of foreign words and creating new Korean words to replace them. However, with the language purification policy, North Korea still adopted a lot of words that reinforce the communist ideology. To illustrate, the word friend has two different forms in North and South Korea. It is comrade Tongmun in North Korea versus friend 친구 in South Korea. Comrade was often associated with the communist ideology after the Russian Revolution, and it often had the meaning of companions fighting for revolution together. Tongmun was influenced by the same ideology, and thus friends in North Korea are companions that are fighting for revolution together. In the South, New English loanwords were not only imported into South Korea, but many existing foreign language loanwords and native words were also replaced with English loanwords. As a result, English encompasses over 90% of the loanwords in South Korea. The English loanwords were used so widely that they are seen in almost all aspects of life. Capitalism is an economic and political system where the companies are privately owned instead of state-owned. Some English loanwords demonstrated the Western influence on the capitalism in South Korea. English loanwords like owner is used to label owning king groups, and Korean term like 청문 킹영님 refer to non-king managers. Loanwords are thus used to differentiate between two social classes. Therefore, it is apparent that in South Korea, loanwords are not just used to indicate a shift in modernity, but also to reflect many of the Western influences on democracy, capitalism, consumerism, as well as some form of social stratification across people of different statuses.
Konglish can be defined as the use of English words or the derivatives in South Korea. Konglish can be considered a Korean lexical item and is the English which is spoken and written by native speakers of Korean.
There are 6 categories of Konglish in South Korea. Firstly, we have direct loanwords. These are words that have Korean pronunciations very similar to the English pronunciation and includes many brand names like Starbucks or Starbucks. Another example is orange juice or orange juice. Secondly, there are hybrid terms. These are terms that combine both English and Korean words. For example, plastic bag is translated into 비닐 봉지, where 비닐 is the English term for vinyl and 봉지 is the Korean term for bag. Thirdly, there is the truncated terminology, which refers to shortened English words. Common examples include 셀프 instead of self-service and 아파트 instead of apartment. Fourthly, we have substitution, where, in the case of the younger generation in particular, English words replace original vernacular vocabulary. For instance, instead of using the term 주차, parking is more widely used. The fifth category is pseudo-loanwords. These words are restructured terms which are only used in South Korea. For example, Koreans use eye shopping when referring to window shopping, and Y shirt to refer to a dress shirt. Finally, we have loanwords with altered meanings. For instance, rinse in English refers to the act of washing something. However, in Korean, rinse means hair conditioner. Similarly, hunting in English refers to the practice of pursuing and tracking animals, while in Korean, hunting means attempting to pick up women or men.
Moreover, the Korean writing system Hangul is an alphabet system. Therefore, South Koreans can express English loanwords by using the Hangul system. If an English pronunciation can be closely replicated with Hangul, Koreans will choose to use the matched Hangul pronunciation. However, in cases of words with f, v, zh, and u, these sounds are replaced with p, b, d, and t. Since these sounds do not exist in Korean, it is possible to provide Korean pronunciations for almost every English word.
What a wonderful world.
Due to the increasingly globalized world, English has become essential. Thus, unlike native speakers, Koreans focus primarily on grammar for academic testing or strategic purposes. Hence, this focus on grammar has also supported the rising popularity of English loanwords, where many Koreans apply words from books and dictionaries directly into real life in order to fill the vernacular vocabulary gap. Thus, Konglish has evolved into an extension from historical loanwords to become an integral part of the Korean language and Korean daily life. As part of his language purification movement, Kim Il-sung also started promoting a dictionary that was free of foreign terms in the 1960s. However, in more recent times, newer editions found it more difficult to completely eradicate English loanwords. Rodong Shinmun, an official newspaper of North Korea Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, showed that foreign loanwords that have been filtered through a Japanese lens have been frequently appearing on the newspaper. Ironically, while many may assume that Russian or even Chinese loanwords would be widespread in North Korea, English loanwords have been seen as the most prevalent. Unlike South Korea, North Korea was intent on isolating their cultural language, and people were not exposed to foreign loanwords unless they were part of a small group that got access to foreign information. Despite the communal effects of having pure Korean in North Korea, the lack of English had severely handicapped many government officials and North Koreans. North Korean government officials were always seen requiring translators to help them translate English during talks and conferences. However, as a country, North Korea needed to progress and move forward. Kim So-kyung, a professor from Ewha Women's University, mentioned that Kim Jong-il knew that the society was underdeveloped and therefore needed to push study materials in English in order to communicate with the global community. Stuart Loan, an Australian professor who went to teach English in North Korea, also mentioned that English is essential in order to understand the latest developments in science and technology. Due to the differences in intentions of adopting English as a language, there is also very clear differences between North and South Korea in terms of English loanwords. Most fascinatingly, symbols of foreign influence or consumerism like McDonald's was completely an unknown term to North Koreans. Furthermore, according to Terrell, beyond just purification purposes, the usage of pure Korean names for foreign products helps to ignore the prosperity and success of foreign countries while focusing only on attempting to reflect the prosperity of the North Koreans instead. More loanwords are likely to appear in Munhwao as more North Koreans learn English and attempt to further advance their society. Loanwords can be known to reinforce both ideology and status differences within a society. In South Korea, Konglish represents the impact of American influence and modernity on language, while in the North, English loanwords are also indirectly introduced for development and survival.